Iraq or their role in Egypt, or we are not silent about the Arab leaders. But neither can we be silent about the atrocities of Bashar Assad, supported by the Russians. We stand here in the name of humanity, for the cause of the well-being of humanity, for the cause of justice, for the cause of freedom, for all children, for all women, for all the people of Syria. We stand here. We stand here, not confused. There are no photoshopping around the children. It is a disgrace to wanting to say that these are photoshopping when children has been killed. When I saw and I met orphan children running after us, begging for some food to eat. In 2011 when we visited Azaz, Babu Salam, there were only 8,000 refugees. In 2012 when I went back, there were 12,000 plus refugees. Is this a fairy tale? Is this Hollywood and Bollywood that is playing itself out? This is no photoshopping. This is the reality that our people in Syria has been facing. And so when our Honorable President has made an appeal to our country, it is a genuine appeal to say, oh South Africa, you are the bastion for democracy and for human rights. Our constitution has given us this freedom where we can be able to speak. It is important, whilst we know what is happening on the ground, raise the voice in objection to the killing and the maiming of our people in Syria. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam wa ilmu wa tamakmal. Takbir! Free, free Syria! 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 Panzi Bashar Assad! Panzi! 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 Takbir! Allahu Akbar! Takbir! Allahu Akbar! Shukran to Maulana Abdul Khalik, the first president of the MCC. And based on what Maulana Abdul Khalik said, we just want to say to the President of Russia, President Putin, and the President of Iraq, President Hassan Rouhani, and the leader of Hezbollah, or Hizb al-Shaitan, Sheikh Hassan Nasrullah, you've got blood on your hands. And you might get away here, but not on the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah. Not on the day of Qiyamah, Allah will deal with you. But anyway, our next speaker is a speaker on behalf of all the youth in South Africa. And in fact, he's speaking on behalf of all the youth of the Ummah. And he's speaking to the youth of Syria, Brother Khalid Bilal. Takbir! 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 Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear brothers and sisters, I'm sure a lot has been already said. But when we speak about Syria, we need to understand what is Syria. We need to know what we are talking about, this land of Syria. When we speak about Syria, we are talking about a holy and blessed land. A land that saw over 900 companions of the Prophet ﷺ. Companions that have lived there, that have fought battles there, and that today are buried in Syria. When we speak about Syria, we speak about a land which saw some of the greatest battles and conquests of Islam. When we speak about Syria, we remember Khalid ibn al-Walid and the Battle of Yarmouk which took place. When we speak about the people of Syria today, we are speaking about the descendants of those very Sahaba. We are speaking about the descendants of Khalid ibn al-Walid. We are speaking about the descendants of some of the greatest heroes in Islam. What is happening today in Syria? It is the worst human crisis in modern history. Over 500,000 Syrians butchered. Millions have been internally displaced. And millions more embark every day on life-threatening journeys to escape the horror they see in their own country and seek refuge elsewhere. Thousands of innocent civilians tortured by Bashar al-Assad and forced to mock their own deen.
and to mock the Islam and to mock Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And a video that we've all seen, where a Syrian man is being buried alive and being told, say, La ilaha illa Bashar. And what does he say? Until his final breath, La ilaha illallah. These are the people of Syria, brothers and sisters. Hundreds and even thousands of Muslim women have been gang raped by the thugs of Bashar al-Assad, by his Shia militias and his soldiers. The situation is so bad that the Muslim women in Aleppo have asked for a fatwa to be passed, allowing them to commit suicide, to take their own life, so that they are not gang raped by the Shia militias of Bashar al-Assad. And one example of hundreds, a heartbreaking example, is of a Muslim woman in Syria. Just a few weeks ago we saw the video, who speaks about how she saw with her own eyes her 4 daughters gang raped and killed in front of her. This is your daughter. This is your sister. This is my sister. Our mothers. We are talking about the worst human crisis in modern history. Let us go to why this is happening, brothers and sisters. Many of us, and especially the youth, are led to believe that what's happening in Syria is a fight against radical extremists. We are fed the narrative that what's happening in Syria is a civil war. But the reality is different. And we will not be apologetic about it. What's happening in Syria is a sectarian war aimed at massacring and ethnically cleansing the Muslim majority population of Syria. Why is this? In order to pave the way for a majority Shia state, which is the priority on Iran and Hezbollah's agenda, Hizb al-Shaytan. Bashar al-Assad, Iran, Russia, and Hizb al-Shaytan have collectively killed and massacred over 500,000 innocent Syrians. And they will continue to do so until their agenda is fulfilled. And the very sad reality that we see even within our community is how this growing sympathism that's arising amongst our own youth towards Russia and towards the Syrian regime. So a message to the youth: let us not think about what's happening in Syria as a war in another foreign country. That child being slaughtered in Syria is your son and my son, our siblings. That woman that is being raped in Syria is your mother and my mother, your sister and my sister, our daughters. And that old man who's been tortured and killed by these Shia militias is your father and my father. Let us not forget the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that indeed believers are brothers. What pains them pains us, and what hurts them hurts us. And lastly, to the blessed people of Syria, wallahi, your sacrifice, the sacrifice that you have made, will not go in vain, and will continue to set the precedents for victory for this ummah. Amen. The blood that you have spilled, Bashar al-Assad, Russia, Iran, and Hezbollah, and all the allies, the blood that they have spilled, wallahi, it will turn around on them, and it will give rise to a new, free Syria. Amen. A Syria without Bashar, A Syria without Iran and Russia. A Syria that is governed by the Book of Allah and the Sunnah of His Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And a Syria without America. Inshallah, a world without America. Our hearts bleed for your pain. And you are always in our du'as. And I will end off inshallah with an ayah. إن تنصروا الله ينصركم ويثبت أقدامكم. If you give victory to the cause of Allah, Allah will give victory to you and make you steadfast on this mission, inshallah. We make dua for our Syrian brothers and sisters. Brothers, any person who goes at bed at night without thinking about their Syrian brothers and sisters, wallahi, we need to question our iman. We need to question ourselves. جزاكم الله خيرا. السلام عليكم.
Takbir! People, this is a time to change many of our normal habits. The reason I'm saying that is, on my way, I switched on our radio, Voice of the Cape. And I was expecting the presenters to promote the march. But the presenter and somebody else was speaking about the peach and apple dessert. While children have got no food in Syria, we're speaking about dessert. So I'm saying respectfully, this is our radio, your radio, everybody's radio, but this is community radio. All of us, we can advise Voice of the Cape. When it comes, for example, at least the day of the march, then we speak about the march, we speak about Syria. And likewise, the other radio station, or also a community radio station, we can tell them as a community, don't defend Bashar Assad. And don't defend Iran or anybody else. Defend the honor of human beings. The honor of each and every soul is even greater than the Kaaba. We know how great the Kaaba is in the eyes of Allah. But the honor and the dignity of our mothers and our sisters, our children, every soul. I want to say it for the third time. And this really made me cry when I saw this young girl. And I'm looking at a lot of our young girls here. She's saying, you ulama and the people of the world, you cannot give your fatwa. It is haram to commit suicide, but I'm going to commit suicide before they're going to rape me. So we must change things around. May Allah grant us, as Khalid said, that every night before we go sleep, and when we stand up in the morning, we think about our brothers and sisters in Syria and Aleppo. We only have 2 items. Maulana Ihsan Indris is going to address us now, and after Maulana, Sheikh Ishaq Talib, the Secretary General of the MG, is going to read the memorandum, inshallah. Maulana Ihsan Indris, فليتفضل مشكورا.